And we're off and running. Welcome to the podcast. Barn burner on a Thursday, a busy Thursday, as it turns out. Who knew there'd be busy things or a lot of stuff going on here in late June, but yet here we are on a busy one. Welcome to the Tower Chrysler Studios. It's Boomer, it's Pinder, it's the Retster Tower Chrysler. So it's T's and P's to Serge today. Serge Lacasse.
What's going on? You all right?
Well, he was in Palm last night, Palm Springs, watching the old the Firebirds. He's been a Firebirds fan for about 6 days.
Yeah, hours. Yeah.
Yeah. All of 6 days. He was there for game 7 last night. Oh, yeah.
Long suffering. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, long suffering Coachella Valley Firebird fan.
Mm-hmm.
They have a 2-0 lead and then lost in overtime.
Oh, boy. Well, they 2-0 lead in the series, too.
Of the Hershey Cup championship. Or they win the Calder Cup championship last night. So, sorry, Serge. T's and P's. T's and P's.
Now, why is there 2 Calder Cups?
There's one in that league, and there's one in this league. No?
Is it the same Calder?
I wonder. I mean, it would make sense that someone made a great impact in the American League and then also the NHL and had shit named after him, but I don't know the answer to that.
Is it Shane Calder?
Don't believe so.
He's moving potatoes. He's making your fries available, folks.
I had no idea.
Your fries available.
Yeah, I had no idea. Well, I guess there's no need to F around because there may not be a situation where there's been more Flames news in a 24-hour period.
Since last summer.
The Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Head coach in the American Hockey League.
Yeah.
As it pertains to the assistant coach spot in the National Hockey League.
Right.
And 3 pivotal pieces of the on-ice performance of the Calgary Flames. News surrounding all of that. None of it inconsequential.
Jack, do we have some beat music?
I was going to say we almost need
not beat, but
some intense kind of
dramatic.
Very dramatic times. Now I know you've got all of this coming up in the Pinder report, and I don't want to steal your thunder, but we can't.
No, we have to talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Kick the can around until then. But so we'll start, I guess, with some Frank bombs came out this morning by way of the Twitter and by way of the Soch. We'll start with Noah Hanifin, who we've talked about plenty, and I don't know that this is necessarily breaking news, but it's just the latest from Frank. The tweet as of less than an hour ago. The belief is Flames have received a more direct answer from defenseman Noah Hanifin, who has clearly indicated that he does not plan to sign an extension in Calgary. This doesn't necessarily guarantee a trade, but Calgary has an answer on where he stands. Again, kind of reinforcing, I think, what we all believed, or at least what we all were hearing that other people believed. So, to Frank's point, doesn't guarantee a trade. But if what Conroy said at his press conference about not being able to essentially walk pending UFAs into a season and risk losing them for nothing, you can still trade them in the season, I suppose. You can still do that.
Don't get hurt.
Don't get hurt. And don't be good. That's the other thing, too, that we found. That if you're a good team and you're in a playoff hunt or in your playoff spot, it's hard to trade your really good players.
Frank made a good point. You can walk away. Let him go.
I mean, I think if you can choose between getting a bunch of picks and not having the player or just letting him walk and getting the cap space, I'd rather have both.
Is that a bit hypocritical on my side when I absolutely roast Treliving for not trading?
Is it a bit hypocritical?
Hypocritical?
Or you could just let him walk for nothing. You could you'll just get that cap space back.
No.
It's
I
a
mean, you do get
smidge.
cap space if you just take picks back. I do want to remind people that it's not one of the other. It could be both.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of both.
Yeah,
it's like a really, really, really good draft class.
Okay. I said this yesterday and we never followed up. Would it be an option, in your 2 dummies' opinions, to combine, say, you on Hanifin, you're taking more of our money and not get anything back? In other words, the 2 highest paid centermen on the team.
Well,
or not centermen.
Huberdeau,
yeah.
You could. I'd rather try to get a pick in the top 20 here. This is a really nice crop.
There's no guarantees in life, Ryan.
Of course there isn't, but Jesus.
So for that, so let's just paint an example. Let's say it's Nazem Kadri.
Sure.
That would be one of them. So you would be sending Noah Hanifin, potentially with an extension long term, and Kadri somewhere. You would have to be taking back some money, I would guess, because you'd be talking
That's
about
$12
Hanifin's
million.
$5 million, just a shade under 5
Well,
this
why?
year.
I mean, are there not
I'm
teams
just-
out there that might work with you that have some cap space?
Not 12.
Huh?
Not 12 million. That's what those two guys are making. I mean, you don't want to eat on Kadri because you're eating for 6 years. Beat this year on Hanifin, sure, but I don't see a team that thinks they're contending this year with $10 million cap space.
Yeah, but the Buffalo Sabres?
Do they have $10 million in cap space?
Now,
Yes,
let me. I'll
they
just
do.
finish that point. Now,
Okay,
if you
so
were,
then there's a good idea. Yeah.
but if you were to take money back, it doesn't mean that you're taking 6 years of it. You could be taking it short term.
no.
Maybe it's the final year of a deal where you're
Sure.
We'll take that guy that's got 5
And then
million
the
or
cap's
6
up
million,
next
and-
year and they can deal with their shit later. Yeah. That's you absolutely could. I just think it's going to be really easy to be bad. If you're going to be bad, what's really hard is to collect good hockey players. And this is the draft you want to collect players from. Like
But they're the Flames aren't the only ones seeing it, though. Ryan is the only fly in the
Of
ointment
course.
here, right? Like,
No, I'm not suggesting other teams don't know it's a good draft. What I'm suggesting is if you're a contender that sees your chance to win is this year or next year, this year's draft pick ain't helping you win a cup. It's going to be beyond that. So you're trading futures for present.
and the other part of that is, it's great to have cap space. What are you doing with it next year, right? Like,
If you're the Flames or somebody else.
if you're the Flames, so say you clear off, say somebody says, "Yeah, I'll take Hanifin and even Huberdeau." Great, you've cleared up a whole bunch of cap space next year. What's your plan to use that cap space? Anything? Or do you now start taking shitty contracts? Because this is the trickle down effect, right? Chess, not checkers. You've got cap space now. Now you could take someone like you didn't move Hanifin and Huberdeau for picks. Okay, damn, it would have been nice to get picks. Guess what you got? A bunch of cap space. Who's in a tight crunch? There's a bunch of teams. We'll take your shitty money. Give us your picks, right? Like once you start moving the pieces, there's other ways of getting those picks that you
could do
cover.
it twice over. You could trade Hanifin for picks, get the cap space, take someone else's bad money with picks, get picks. Go.
Yeah.
I just think, like you could really work hard to try to remove one of these cumbersome, huge contracts. I still agree with Boomer yesterday. This is the absolute sell moment for the careers of Kadri and Huberdeau. If you can even wait 1 year, you might be able to do it with less pain than this offseason. That's my take on it. I think if the coach had anything at all to do with them not having years that were accustomed to seeing, then you'll have a better spot to move them in a year from now. If the coach was not an issue at all and they're just failed players, okay, well, then you're in the same spot you are next summer.
What a shitty thing, though. You're giving up your 2-3 defensemen.
I'm suggesting trading him for a pile of assets, not giving him up for nothing. That's my suggestion.
My point, though, is for those guys to look good, do they need to? Does that not mean the team needs to be good? And if you're anyway,
no, there's good players on bad teams. I mean, if Huberdeau looks like the Huberdeau that arrived in Calgary and not the one that played in Calgary, you're happy with where you're at versus what you had this year. If Nazem Kadri looks
you're
like
happy with what you're at because you're going to get production from him. But if you're deleting from your decor and you can't fill that hole, and now all of a sudden you're losing, you know what I mean? Like,
I do. I'm not really talking about winning next year. What I'm talking about is asset management, where it's like, if I don't think you can let Lindholm or Hanifin walk for nothing. And I think if you can find ways to get into the top 20 of this draft, like you could really swing the fortunes of this club for the next decade significantly. You might not, but it's the best. When you look at draft classes, this one is, at this point with, we had Byron Bader on last night for a draft thing. Like the numbers kids are putting up in their draft year this year, we haven't seen since that 03 class. If you could pull a Perry Getzlaf type thing out of this draft class, it completely changes your fortunes. I'd rather that than trying to dump a guy who's had a career worst season.
So Pinder did a draft preview show for us last night, as he mentions, and he's been told by guys in the know how great the draft class is. So we're
We've
going to
been
be
talking
hearing a
about
lot.
it for 3 years.
We're going to be hearing from Pinder about draft picks a lot over the next
No, but
6
it's
days.
honestly, we've heard about the 23 class for 3 years. This isn't new. You know that. It's a deep draft. And here was a question from last night, that a little teaser for Tuesday's show next week. Where would Shane Wright or Juraj Slavkovsky have gone? The presumptive number one and the actual number one, if they were in this year's draft class. These guys think they go in the teens. That's a Western scout and a guy that simply looks at data and says, here's what guys with this type of production from these leagues typically do. Like, that's how much better this year's class is than last.
Sure. No, like you.
Please
to your original...
find more top 20 picks than this year's draft. That's
okay, but here, it's just, it's too. I don't disagree with you, and sure, the comparisons with the 2003, but you still have a third of those guys aren't as great as what, you know what I mean? Like the 2003 draft class, still they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
10 Hall of Famers in there.
Well, but there's also 7 or 8 guys that didn't pan out.
Correct. Yeah, there was
right?
one that played only a handful of games. They all played.
Yeah, but okay, Robert Nielsen.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
15th overall, played
I'm
250 games. Sure. And again, I'm not arguing to say don't get the picks. It's I think Conroy's in a shitty spot.
Of course he is. Yes, we talked about it. He's been given probably the most diabolical of marching orders. Make the playoffs, but oh my gosh, I'm seeing this team getting really old. I'd love to get young. I think what the news we've heard today, which Boom hasn't really even gotten around to saying yet, is like, if you ever had a day to commit to a rebuild, this is the fucking day.
So we'll spin. Let's do Michael Backlund. This was another piece that came out from Frank this morning. Now, I think we've all kind of felt like Backland has been a Calgary Flame from the day, like, drafted here. He's played here. Doesn't feel like maybe he should play anywhere else. Could be a career Flame. The guys in the room have been talking about how he's captain material. Frank had an update on his Twitter regarding Michael as well. Bit of a surprise, told Michael Backlund is also leaning toward not re-signing in Calgary. That could change, and the Flames hope it does. He's been a staple for 15 years. Nonetheless, Craig Conroy has decisions to make. I find these kind of, and this is nothing about Frank. I take Frank to absolutely have his facts on this. This feels it can feel a little bit like maybe an agent is throwing some shit out there to see if it sticks, and just to let, we're not sure. We may not, to kind of sweeten the pot potentially on any kind of a deal that he may have as far as a contract re-up with the team. I don't know.
My take on this is that there's more shit in that dressing room. What you said is true. That is a very strong possibility that the agent is trying to manipulate this and use it to his advantage, and that's what an agent should do. The other side I see, with all these guys saying thanks but no thanks, there's some major effing issues in that room.
Yeah, and I think these guys need to be convinced it's going to work. And if you're asking them to make decisions now based on a decision that they have the right to wait a year on, I'm not ready to make a decision. I want more info. Mm-hmm. I think every agent would be advising their guys. There's not a lot of advantage to locking in now. Pretty much aside from injury, there's no advantage to locking in.
For Backland at 34, it's a little bit different.
I suppose, but if I was back at 34 and he said he wants to win, I'd certainly like to see how this looks.
Well, good luck to him in picking a winner. That's a fool's errand, but
no, but at least you could say these 10 teams have a decent shot of going deep. I don't know that the Flames are in that group right now. They're certainly not. So if he's a free agent and says it's just about winning, like, I'll sign for $2 million 1 year, like, who's competitive? Let's go. I'll be your number 3 center.
What are the Flames offering him?
I don't know. I mean,
what would you?
Me, I wouldn't give him any term. So not much. I mean, maybe 1 or 2 years, 3 to 4.5, like, not a lot. He's a third line center.
Yeah, he told me he's a captain yesterday.
I didn't tell you that. I said if he was your captain,
okay, not you, sorry, but
I think he's a candidate. But I mean, I'm not in that room. We've all agreed. Only guys in the room know who should wear that C. But the notion of him getting huge term here, he said he wants to win. He's not going to get term unless it happens to be just some magical fit with a contender.
Yeah, everybody wants to win.
Everybody wants to win. You're taking this as I'm willing to win at all costs it's not his. This might be his last time to get real money, right? Like he's
not
and
going to
it's
make
probably
more than he
mostly
made
here.
last
Where
year.
else is he going to go and make? I don't know, but I guess that was what I was trying to get at. Is he really willing to play for $2 million as opposed to $5 million?
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, and I don't think he's a $5 million player anymore. So,
And I keep coming back to it, and I don't know. He's 34.
yeah,
Then why? Okay,
I'm
so
not.
This is fine. We have to read beneath the surface. Then, if we're saying all this stuff, then Conroy's marching orders have to be dump everyone, because we just said he's not that good.
we're not saying he's not that good. What we're saying is he's a secondary piece on a contender. He's at the age of 35 next year when he's a free agent. That'll be his 35-year-old season. He's come off of his big contract that he's made his money on. He's not going to get a high AAV, and he would be like if a contender thinks they need a third line checking center. That's what he is. I mean, no one's here telling you he's a top 2 center. You think he's got a big deal coming?
I don't know.
My thing has been that I just think that it's to say, just take a 1-year deal. This is his last chance at getting a deal, quite likely. If I'm Michael Backlund, I want to win, but to Rhett's point, there's no guarantees. If I can get a 3 or a 4-year deal somehow, a 3-year deal is probably the max. I'm taking that over a 1-year roll of the dice.
We haven't seen a lot of 35-year-old guys get 3-4-year deals, especially when they're third liners. So, I mean, if he can, go get it. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was pick a spot, take less than market to try to win. I wouldn't be surprised by that.
So then we move on to the third player in today's Frank Bomb news, and that is Elias Lindholm. So Hanifin, we believe, has told Conroy and the team that he's not coming back. Michael Backland has floated the notion that he's not crazy about it. This from Frank: Calgary recently made a big pitch, rolled out the red carpet, money-wise, paraphrasing, to try and re-sign Elias Lindholm. Calgary is waiting on a response from Lindholm. Haven't been given definitive answer yet, but general league speculation is he's leaning toward not re-signing with Calgary.
So in other words, we're willing to overpay you. Thanks, but no thanks.
If you're going to make
Here's
it
our best
impossible,
offer.
If you're going to make it impossible for me to turn down, I guess I'll come back. But
Well,
at the end of the day, we've talked about how hard this is for Craig Conroy. Are the players going to make this incredibly easy for Craig Conroy?
No.
So
that he's just got to trade these guys. If they all say they're not coming back, then you've got to trade everybody.
I feel that way.
I do too. I say start moving assets and figure it out down the road. Like unless ownership isn't willing to, you know what I mean? We're assuming.
This is the challenge, right?
We're assuming that this is another, for lack of a $10 million 8-year deal, right? Like top of the top end money for him. But is that how ownership is approaching it? Have they given Conroy the, hey, go ahead and give him whatever he wants attitude?
But I think it's
typical for that. For the Flames to do that.
It is, but I wonder if this is a little bit different. We've talked about with it being Conroy and Iginla, the sway that they might have, but this isn't like Conroy is saying, yeah, we've got this team that's established. I want to change course with many options at hand. This is kind of being force fed to them from what we believe.
Players' choices, right?
This is what you've been dealt with. And I think Murray / ownership might be more willing and able to handle that based off what happened last year with Gaudreau, where they went into the year, they didn't have him extended, and then he left. That left a very sour taste in Murray.
Here's what Mr. Edwards has to understand, though, is that if guys don't want to be there, overpaying them will not result. You might keep them, but it's not going to help you in your results.
No, agreed.
I think this is the underlying factor I have for the whole Flames group right now. There's too many guys that appear not to really want to be a Calgary Flame. They're happy to play in the NHL. Absolutely. I'm getting paid good money. This is not the worst lifestyle in the world, but deep down, I don't bleed Flames. I'm not a I'm not a Calgary Flame for life. I'm not a buy-in on all, you know what I mean? And I keep saying that for small market teams like Calgary, Buffalo, Edmonton's an outlier because of McDavid, Winnipeg. You have to have guys that want to take on the personality of your city and become part of the lifeblood of that city. They want to be part of the city, and they want to be Calgary Flames. You can't have guys that are just, this is the team I'm on.
And that's what Connie said at his press conference. I want guys that want to be Flames. I got to find out if guys want to be a Flame through and through, not just to collect a paycheck and play in the NHL, but to be a Flame. The question isn't, do you trade these guys? From the ownership perspective, and Connie, what he's asking of them, the question I think he has to ask is, guys, like, we could get a haul of picks in a great draft year. Please don't make me take present players now instead of that. Here's a great opportunity to reload for the next decade. Don't bring 28-year-olds back in with a year left on their deal. Like, don't try to be competitive this year and not collect this great opportunity to get young and talented and hungry again, right? To finish.
Yeah.
The deal that Treliving took on Tkachuk was one that was a win now deal. It wasn't a futures deal. I hope ownership doesn't make Conroy turn these into win now deals. I'd love to see some futures deals. They've moved a lot of picks the last 5 to 10 years.
Okay. We have to put on our Sabres GM hat and our Florida Panthers GM hat and our Dallas Stars GM hat and go, are we willing in our organization, I'm just throwing names out, teams out, to take these players on and give up those picks? Because again, what we go back to is other teams know how good the draft is as well. And the cap's not going up and it's a tough situation. So it's easy for us to sit here and go, let's move these guys and get a top 20 pick. I'm not saying you can't, but other teams might not be as open to it this year as we assume. Right?
I mean, we've seen a bunch moved already. That's the only reason I'd think it is. We've got 7 teams that have more than one pick in this first round.
But they accumulated them
for a while,
years ago.
Most of them were at the deadline this year, to be honest. So people knew this was a good draft class. But again, you're balancing futures versus present. I do agree.
Who accumulated picks at the deadline then?
Okay, Arizona from Ottawa. That was what deal?
Well, St. Louis did O'Reilly and Tarasenko, right?
Here's the teams that have multiple picks. St. Louis have 3. San Jose has 2. Chicago has 2. Philly has 2. Arizona has 2. Detroit has 2. Nashville has 2. Ryan O'Reilly was a first. Sandine moved for a first. There's a bunch of guys that move for first. This isn't a sneaking up good draft class. It's just, it's going to cost more to get a first, but teams are still moving them. They know it's just a more valuable first. Instead of viewing it as pick 25, view it like pick 12. You can get picks. A lot of moved hands already this year.
So just let me throw this out there. Brian Burke, when we had him on the show, and even just over the years, he's talked about as a GM. If you want out, you're out. If you ask for a trade, you're not playing, you're done. You're leaving. Even hearing from, because it sounds like the one who is most open to a reunion or to re-signing is Lindholm. Is already what you've heard from him, has that soured you to the point where you feel like, no, that's not the answer I want from a potential captain and number 1 center, that you're towards staying?
I'm done. I'm done.
If you have to go to the place financially where you're going to have to keep him, he better be a Flame through and through. And to be fair, I don't blame any of these guys.
No, it's
what
not
has this organization shown them? Like, do you treat players the best in the NHL? Or do you see an organization that cuts corners and, hey, look at the lists we compiled for GM and head coach. Was that the best of the best, or was that just what was fitting their budget? I mean, I think a lot of these players that have been here a long time, they've had a lot of fatigue from how this team's run.
We've used this comparable in the past, and I know Elliot on his 32 Thoughts did as recent as yesterday. The Bo Horvat contract given out by the New York Islanders.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 8-year extension at $8.5 million per season. So an $8.5 million cap hit for each of the next 8.
Yep.
That sounds like what it would take to get Elias Lindholm.
And that was before we had more clarity on the cap in 2 years. I think Lindholm gets more than that for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, strip that away and let's just say $8.5 million. Red, are you sliding a contract offer across the table if you're Craig Conroy to Lindholm?
Do I have to answer? Do I have to answer to anyone or can I just run things how I want? Because if my marching orders aren't win now, I'm absolutely not.
Yeah. And this is the biggest challenge we have doing this show is you can say, Connie should do this, Connie should do that. What we don't know is the most important thing that Connie has to deal with. And that's what is his MO? What's he been given for? What are your marching orders? Like, has he been asked to make the playoffs this year? That's going to lead to some bad decisions. If you have all these guys trying to exodus, like, you're not spending good money here. If you're trading these guys for picks and moving them into expensive guys in their 30s, like,
yeah, I know. And the other part
we don't know.
To the Lindholm thing was we're believed that he is also let it be known that he wants to know that the Flames are trying to win, that they're not pulling the plug on things.
Well,
so
what the F does he look up the lineup and say? Like,
this comes back to it. I just think that you put it all together. Players that willingly want to leave or want all of the money to stay, and you miss the playoffs already and everything. The table just might be set where ownership, regardless, may look at all of it and just say, well, yeah, let's move these guys and let's turn the page. I hate to do it. And if it's pretty clear if what we're hearing is in fact true.
It's a unique opportunity to look in the mirror, be honest about where you're at, and to make some really, really good decisions for the next decade and for the opening date of your new rink, which we don't have yet, but we understand would be in a 4 to 5 year window.
And even that aside, what's your goal? To win the Stanley Cup. Every team is in it to win a cup.
Should be.
This just seems very obvious.
And everyone points to Florida this year being, oh, see, if you just get in. Florida's been good for how many? 3 years?
They were number 1 in the league in the regular season last year.
Like,
yep.
It's
they weren't that good this year in the regular season, but there was always a lot of nice parts there that you liked. And when they finally got goaltending, they looked great.
So my point about that is to the old, let's get in and see what happens. Okay, well.
And then, so if you, in theory, again, you don't have to do it now, but it feels like if you can get picks in this year's draft, you do it now. And maybe if you can't, then you wait. Maybe you hold off. But there's also the Toffoli, Tanev later on by the deadline. And then it's Jacob Markstrom next summer.
But Jacob's got 2 years after this one, but yeah, I hear what you're saying. Why would you hang on to Jacob if you're not going to be competitive, right? And he has to play well if he's going to get out of here. Sorry, like that's part of it. No one wants an 885 goalie.
Well, same with Kadri and Huberdeau. They see things going to shit. Do you think Jonathan Huberdeau wants to sit in Calgary and
probably not
collecting a paycheck? But F me, this is no fun.
Onus is on those guys to start looking like themselves, and then maybe you can make it happen for them. But if they're going to look like they did last year, those are nearly immovable objects, right?
Also, news this morning, it appears as though the Calgary Wranglers are looking for a new head coach, as Mitch Love is off to the Washington Capitals as an assistant to Spencer Carberry, the newly minted head coach for the Caps. So, one-way tickets.
That's a tough look.
Lots of WestJet, lots of Rhett Warner one-way tickets. When are you leaving? When are you coming back? I don't know. One way.
You can't blame this one on the room in Calgary. Wranglers had a different room and they won a lot. And when you see someone take a lateral move, because we are believed he was talking about an assistant's job in Calgary, that doesn't look good on the org.
There might be.
There could be lots of other reasons, and maybe it's hurt feelings didn't get the head coaching
That's
job.
my
thing. Not a good look.
And it might be a weird circumstance where you're both going for the head coaching job, and you get turned down, and we'll give you the assistant. Because I'm sure the Flames would have taken him as an assistant to fill Huska's spot.
I bet you they would. The question is, do they pay what Washington pays their assistants?
Well, there's that question too. There's hurt. You know what I mean? Speculating on this is, you know what we should be saying? Congratulations.
Congratulations to him, and a guy that's ready to be in the NHL, and a guy that if he continues his ascension, we wouldn't be surprised to see behind a head coaching on the bench as the head coach in a few
years. He'll be assistant coach in Washington for 3-4 years, and when Husky gets canned,
let's hope that
coaches.
No, I know.
It's the 2.5-year shelf life. You're right, Rhett. Like, no one lasts that long. It's,
And you know what, Rhett, you said this either earlier this week or last week when talking about Mitch Love. It feels different where you always want to retain your assets. It feels like that's a player thing. Yes, he was coaching the Wranglers. It just feels different than a player where today they've lost an asset to me.
Yeah. It's like, when Jared Bednar's an assistant in the minors in Calgary and he goes and has success elsewhere and then's in the NHL and wins a cup. It's not like, damn it, he got away. It's like, no, good for him. That's
how the hell do you exactly. Like, Bednar's a great example. He wouldn't have got the job in Colorado if Wah hadn't gone nutso and
still be
run himself out of town, right? Like, all of those circumstances, you can't control every.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's because you don't trade coaches. They're not assets that you can parlay. And it's like, oh, well, we'll give you Mitch Love in Washington if you give us a third. Like, no.
And who the hell says Mitch Love's going to be a good coach in the NHL? We'll speculate that he's going to be. Sure,
you'd love him to be.
Reason to believe that, but is he the and it's a 3-year window, or if he is good, 4, 5, like, it's not the next coming of. Well, I won't use the word. Anyway,
the one thing that's clear now that wasn't before is, we wondered about, if you brought it back, what would it look like? I don't think that they can bring this back if guys are all good. Like Craig said in his presser, and maybe this was the lesson from the presser. Everyone loved it. Oh, he's back. Flames won another press conference. I can't go into the season with 7 UFAs. I've got to be better at asset management. I learned a lot watching Johnny work for nothing. We can't have guys do that. Well, he's kind of painted himself into a bit of a corner here this summer, hasn't he?
Sell the piss out of this team.
Yeah.
If guys aren't excited to stay and play, bye.
I've said it over and over. I feel like there's so many teams, and the Flames have been one of those teams where you're in the cap jail, where you would love to be able to free up cap space and roster space, but you cannot do it without sending out assets for other teams to take on money. Mm-hmm. They are gift wrapping you space and cap money.
And an opportunity to get into one of the best drafts that you might have as a GM.
Well, and if you're going to sell on those guys, there ain't a player on that roster that isn't available.
Yeah, there's going to be some that are hard to move, but if there's older guys that are expiring, that are
don't even
assets
care.
that are
if
worth stuff, get some picks. Let's go.
Cap space, because that cap space, you damn well know, come January, February of this coming season, if they've got 15 million in cap space, what the hell are they going to do? They're going to recuperate picks. They're going to get offers, take on, they're out of the playoffs. They've sold a bunch of guys. They got a bunch of cap space. Whose phone? Yeah, we'll take your money. We'll take your money. Yeah, we want to pick for next year. Like,
totally.
It's great to want to get picks in this draft, but absolutely, if you can for this year, move those guys and get them. But next year's just important too.
Yeah. Well, and you might be looking at a high pick of your own all of a sudden.
Yeah, get 4 picks in the first round of 2 this year, 2 next year. Fuck, let's rebuild. Let's go.
Is there a chance that we're kind of alone on an island here? Because I was on social media and just looking at reaction this morning. There's a lot of Flames fans. It's very much, they're downtrodden to see that these guys don't want to be here and they're going to be trading away these players. And Mitch Love leaves and it's like, gosh, nobody wants to. What's happened in Calgary? This is terrible. Whereas we're like, this is friggin' great. It was fantastic.
Like Winnipeg with you and Frank the other day. You're like, oh man, what a Winnipeg. Jeez. He's like, this is great. What are you talking about? They can get rid of all their problems and reload. Like, hey, if you feared the rebuild, this ain't good. But there's a lot of people that said, you know what? We've been ready and they've never really committed to one. And I think this fan base would embrace it. Like, there are people that hold those views and they're like, yes, finally, it's happening. We're actually going to build to the draft. This is the only organization in the NHL that's never picked in the top 3. Go look at all those cup winning teams. I mean, there's not many that don't have a bunch of those. You only get players like this if you pick in the top 5 type guys. Like, I would think St. Louis and Vegas are kind of your outliers, but every other cup winner, it's like, oh yeah. And that's the guy that he's a career this team because he went number 1 or 2. Stamkos, Hedman, they don't get those guys trading.
Cavalier in Tampa.
Sure.
Patrick Kane.
Crosby, Malkin, Kane,
Perry.
Taves. All these guys were gifted because you're fucking rebuilt.
And this all feels different to me, just kind of seeing people disappointed or whatever. This is different than last year where Tkachuk said he didn't want to come back. That was Tkachuk, who had not yet entered his prime, who was emerging as a potential superstar, 100-point season. Noah Hanifin and Elias Lindholm, they're fine players. They're very good NHLers. They're not kids.
They're not 24, 25.
Right? This is different to me. You had them on very good cap hits, both of them under $5 million a season for a long time. Lindholm and Hanifin obviously coming in that same trade. You got very good value for your dollar on those guys. Tkachuk was tough. This one, it's not the same scenario the way I see it.
No. And to be fair, I don't blame anyone for trying to run it back the year after and say, hey, like, we felt like this group was close, and boy, they got a lot of parts for Tkachuk, a first, which we don't know where it's going to be. It's Florida's first in 2025. You got 115-point forward who looked like shit this year, but at that time was 115-point forward and a top pair defenseman or a 2-3. Like that was a haul. You're not going to get that for one of these guys, but you're still going to get significant parts. Like they got a first plus 2 core players essentially for Tkachuk.
And no matter how you feel about it, and I know how we feel about it, I don't think there's a Flames fan out there who can sit and tell you that the mix was right, that they had good chemistry, and this was a team that looked like they were ready to gel. There's something.
No, it's a shame that you won't get to see a different coach with it, but the only thing we had to look at is last year. It was a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
I think that points to that it wasn't, we've said it, it's not always just one thing.
Of course, not just
and
the coach.
So I think that this is making clear that there's more issues than just the coach.
Yeah, and Ryan Huska and Craig Conroy, welcome to your new posts. Holy fuck. What did I sign up for? The walls are caving in.
And I do. I hope that this is,
I think
in
it's
a way,
better.
for Craig, that it's less about do I do it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's more I have to do it. Now the only work you have to do is what's the best return.
I think he F's himself if he tries to
Bring everyone back.
Band-Aid this together. And I actually think it's better for Huska. Get the viruses, and not that they're clean out the room.
Get a reset in the room.
Work with guys that want to be there. Give yourself a couple of years to plan an attack. Ryan Huska's coaching debut shouldn't be about massaging a goddamn dressing room.
No,
and feelings and
expectations
egos.
should not be, hey, this is the year we win the cup for this. Like, this is now about developing young players.
Develop kids. Let them play. Bring those young guys up. If Kadri and Hubert are here, play the piss out of them. You're on every other shift. There's kids with you, and you carry them. Like, I like that approach better than, well, we're going to have 4 30-year-old forwards making 5+ and getting older. And no,
We had lunch. I saw the McLeod Law there. We had a nice little get together with all the good people from McLeod Law yesterday. How was your lunch? You had some tacos. You did the Warner, gave those the Warner treatment yesterday.
Well, that's the traditional taco. So the small.
I looked over as I was about to begin eating my lunch, and it was a clean plate. It was it was the clean plate club across the table for old Pin Dog there.
And I tapped the neighbor and took a slice of his pizza, and I was good. That was all I needed.
That was good, Austin. But you brought up when the comparable, and I think you used Boston, but I wonder if maybe, as you had said, maybe Dallas. And it's not as though Dallas has been a huge success story, but they are a team that has turned the corner a little bit, where you have maybe a couple of aging guys on contracts and cap hits that it's too much money, and it has not been good value. But you've committed a little bit to moving out some other guys. Klingberg has moved on. You've done some things in recent years, and now you've got Rupe Hintz and Jason Robertson and Wyatt Johnston. You've got some young guys who are really kind of pushing that team. And now suddenly those older guys are pretty good accent pieces. It's not the way you want to set it up, but it can be done.
Totally. Yeah, because we're talking about it's like, man, like these deals, like they're going to be old. And it's like, well, there's a lot of teams that have survived that. There are. And Dallas is one of them. They're paying Jamie Benn almost $10 million a year. They're paying Tyler Seguin almost 10 a year. Those are what? Like their 5th and 6th best forwards, 3rd and 4th. Like they've got Robertson, Hintz, as you noted, the others. Like you can do it with a couple bad contracts. What you can't do, and what we're all afraid of, is if you extend Hanifin and you extend Lindholm and Backland comes back, Well, now you got 6 old guys, and if you're bad with 6 guys locked in forever, you got no chance. But what they
shit.
If you look at how Dallas is good, it's because Jim Nill drafts well and they develop really well. And, where the Flames took Stromgren last year, they got this kid that was playing for Team Canada that looks like he's going to light the world on fire a couple picks later. Like they're better at that. And that's what you need to become right now. Load up on picks and get good at finding players.
And there was some good news yesterday, Flames-wise. Mike Vernon, Hockey Hall of Fame. My boy Vernon, congratulations.
Not enough goalies in there. This is good. They added some goalies yesterday.
Good old Vernie.
Criminally underrepresented, the goalies in the Hall, believe it or not.
Lots of people have very strong opinions about the Hall of Fame and who gets inducted. It was really quite a firefight on social media about how does he get in and what are they doing with this? I can't believe McGillney goes in and Turgeon and what the hell is this?
McGillney didn't go in.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah. I just wish
no one cares, right? Yeah. No one gives a shit. And then I'm outraged. This is bullshit. What are they doing? I can't believe it. And then in about 2 days, your temperature comes down and you don't talk about the Hall of Fame again for 360 days.
You get a little rest, a little breather for it. Congrats to Mike. We, curtain pulled back. We sat down with him a couple weeks ago. And he getting ready for that. You were reminded, he was good here. He was really good elsewhere. Like he won a fucking Conn Smythe in Detroit. He was the man for one of those cups with the Wings. He was supposed to be Osgood, but he was outplaying him that year and they rode him down the stretch and into the playoffs. He was great for them.
You know what it is at the end of the day? It's barn burner karma.
There you go.
Well, 2 weeks after doing a sit down with the boys, Hockey Hall of Fame.
Well, and I will pull back the curtain further. We sat down with Lanny, and guess who's on the selection committee? It's the barn burner karma.
$100 you buy him a coffee, you can make shit happen. It's easy.
Let's go. Wayne's got all his pals in. If Kevin Lowe can get in and Alex McGillney can't, just fucking call your friends.
That's one thing everyone says about Lanny. There's no
buy him.
No morals. His moral compass. You cannot trust a guy like Lanny McDonald.
We have a clip if you want it, Bill.
Would love it. Yeah. What do we got here?
So this is us, Rhett and I sitting down with Mike. This is about an hour and a half with the now Hall of Famer from a few weeks ago. And this was at the very end of the interview. We asked him what he's most proud about his career. For me, just looking back, we talked about a lot. It's been a lot of hometown, a lot of, other major markets, 2 cups. Like, what do you look back and relish or you're really proud of or something you're like, if people want to remember one thing, I'd love to remember that.
Wow. One thing?
It's hard to pick one.
It is hard.
Well, you got 2 cups, so maybe I give you
it's hard to pick one. You know what? I'm just proud of my career. I'm a small guy, probably, a knock here or there, but I hope to think that I was a competitor and, I played 18 years in the National Hockey League. My career, I'm happy with it. And I hope people are happy and respectful of it too. And it wasn't easy. It never is to play in this crazy game. It takes a lot, mental fortitude and thick skin and a lot of determination. So I'm proud of my career.
We'll have that interview in its entirety coming up in July. We've got some of these in the can, as they say. But it was one of those ones that had passed, right? He'd been eligible for the Hall of Fame for so long. You just felt like it's just probably not going to happen. Not because he's not deserving or that his numbers aren't worthy, but maybe it's just too far gone. I was a little surprised yesterday only because of that, because you're right. And maybe it's because it's a Calgary thing. But I would bet there'd be a lot of people who saw Vernon and maybe take a double check. And then you go back and look. And like you say, there's Cups and Conn Smythe. And the other thing about Vernon, the guy, he was nails when the games were on the line. You think also about the saves against Vancouver and all of that sort of stuff. He was a money goaltender. And another one of those things, if you didn't have those donkeys up the road, what kind of numbers and success he would have had in addition to what he's already got. So pretty great.
He
for
talked
old,
about it
for old
too.
Vernie.
Anytime his contract was about to come up, it was just like, oh boy, they're going to trade me and I'm moving here and I'm going there. He had to continue to prove himself over and over again. It wasn't like, hey, he's going to stay here forever type of thing. Everyone was always like, wow, we got this shiny new goalie. We drafted Trevor Kidd. Like, it's time to trade this guy. Osgood's here, but he won everywhere he went. It was impressive.
Hearing loss clinic established in a lot of years now, 1993. Sounds like not that long ago, but they've been doing this a long time. 9 locations in all, 4 of them in Calgary. You've got the Shaughnessy location, Northwest in the Crowfoot Business Center, North Hill professional offices, and the one that I visited in the University District. It's bumping up
Really?
there. Is that what they say?
Oh.
So you just said it.
Totally bumping up in the University District. You know what I have to do? I need to go back in for my follow-up.
Really?
Did the initial testing. I got a call yesterday, and going to go back in. We've got
Now, do you stress over that?
nope.
Good news?
There's no stress. There's no
Not with
stress.
you.
If you're that's the thing. If you're feeling anxious, it's you absolutely should not. Very good people, beautiful spot, and they're here to help you. They're here to change your life. We got a lot of people who are life changers. That's what we are. You want to get into the Hockey Hall of Fame? You want to get some
Give us a
first round draft picks? You want to have better hearing? We can do it all for you. Just get in line. The Barn Burner Boys. Men and women of all ages, of course, children can suffer from hearing loss. There can be serious health risks linked to untreated hearing loss. Go online today, get your assessment booked in, and get it done. Hearingloss.ca is the website, and you see their social media there at the Hearing Loss Twitter, Instagram, the Hearing Loss Clinic. Old Rhodesy. Buddy, you got to come back. We can set up the appointment. Okay, Rhodesy. Where are you today? What kind of a jamboree are you at? It's quite a life. It's quite a life he's living. It's almost like Warner.
You'd be pumped for Vernie.
I can take you and show you my basement.
Sorry.
Okay.
Which of the Buffalo House or the mansion on the lake? Do we get to pick which basement?
Oh, the Buffalo basement was nice. Have you still got the Canada flag hanging
Oh yeah, all the flags are looking sharp.
all cockeyed
Well, a few
downstairs?
things have
Looks good. Yeah.
Falling off the walls, and it's a little messier.
Yeah. So you had the big, was it grade 8 graduation?
Grade
last
8
night?
grad, yeah.
Wow.
Were there tears shed?
Not by me, but the shovelers seemed to
Oh.
take things to heart.
Oh,
Shockingly, a couple of
That's
awards were handed out to
Wow.
the big dope.
Attaboy,
Yeah.
buddy.
It's number 2 or 3. Remind us. Number 3?
Numero
Two.
uno. Numero uno.
What? Oh dear.
And you've told us for years that he's stupid.
I guess I don't know what I'm talking about.
You've
Are we
gone
up there?
on- Yeah. Just, well, attaboy. That's great. That's great.
Wow, it was pretty good.
And how big is he now? 6'7"? What's the story here? Grade 8 and
He's got to be 6'3" plus. So
oh boy.
there's a kid. It's funny actually because he's always been very rarely not the tallest kid in his class. There was a kid standing beside him at this ceremony, had him by 4 or 5.
Really? So
Oh.
you got a 7-footer next to you.
Massive. This kid was huge. Volleyball player.
Well, yeah.
Karch.
Attaboy, Karch.
But Coachy.
Is that the last name, first name?
No,
nickname?
remember Karch Karai? Wasn't that the famous?
Oh, yes, the volley. Yes, Karch Karai, the volleyballer. He did well, I'm betting. Betting he did just fine. Let's do the Pinder report. Now that we've told all the news of the day, we'll get into the news
Oh,
of
it's
the day.
more,
with the
don't
Pinder
worry.
report.
No,
All right. Village Honda. They want to buy your ride even if you don't buy theirs. Top trade-in appraisals, payment in 24 hours. It's stress-free, and for a limited time, get a family ticket bundle for Cavalry FC. Get that complimentary appraisal done today. Book it online. VillageHonda.com, your dealership for life. They present the Pinder report.
Well,
Whoa.
yeah, it's
Whoa,
kind of
whoa,
a dark.
whoa,
Whoa.
whoa.
Do we have RJ?
It's the Pinder report.
Do we have an RJ?
We don't. I have RJ.
Well, there you go.
Well, RJ, come on, bud.
Tough start.
It was a quad box yesterday. We had our show, Rob's show, live at 55, pre-recorded draft show that's going to air next Tuesday. These boys were going hard.
Right.
might have got home
Pinder,
and
right.
maybe.
Pinder.
Rob Pinder. All right, boys. Black Thursday in Flamesland, or Bright Thursday, depending on your glass half full or empty. Dean, we're sorry about your Black Thursday. Here's what we know. Lindholm, maybe your biggest decision to make or hope to make this offseason. They went at him hard, Dean, and they got a
I don't know.
It's definitely not an answer, which is what the Flames would like to have before the draft. Because if you had an answer, then you'd know. But in defense of Elias Lindholm and all these other UFAs, they have the right to not have an answer right now. They got another year on their contract. I'm happy to play out the remainder of my contract, Mr. Conroy, and be the best I can be in these Silks. Not really ready to commit for the summer of 2024 yet.
So I've been thinking about this for the last 3 seconds.
Okay.
This is all about entertainment, right?
Our show or the NHL? What do we?
All of this, everything.
Okay.
What we do is entertainment. The game is entertainment. All this is revolved. People spend their money on this because they want to be entertained. So I say, Connie, make it as entertaining as possible. Go to the draft floor. Like, even if you've got a trade done, and you wait till the cameras are on, and you do the phone call, and make a big production out of this trade. All these trades you're going to do. Oh my God, Conroy
Get
traded.
known as slamming the table.
The Hanifin's gone. Holy, got a fifth over. My God, they traded Lindholm too. Holy shit, Backland. Like, make it a production. Be the first
We'll see you at Hell in the
on
Cell.
draft day. Yes.
Wait. You're getting up from. Oh, wait.
Oh, another call.
What?
Yes. What do you guys think?
Done. Okay.
Gary, hang on.
Something's happening at the Flames table. Good God Almighty!
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Let's get some WWE shit on this.
Yes.
Let's go.
Make it
What's that
entertaining.
match they have where they they get a ladder and they have the briefcase full of cash? It's like, all right,
Oh
I
yeah,
gotta
the
get
money
off
in the
of
bank. Let's go.
Sabres, but I got the Ducks on the other line.
Chase down some GM that's walking up to the podium. Craig Conroy with a last ditch effort to. They've got a trade. We've got a trade to announce.
Rock bottom.
I think it would be great.
Hellfire and
Gotta make it more
brimstone.
fun.
Yeah, let's go.
I would say this: don't be booking yourself for Wednesday evening. Leave some availability to be covering round one. If these things are happening, they would love, and the ease of which they could do it, we don't know. They would love to get more in the first round. Right?
And you know what else, Connie? You need a move. Like, do the
move.
The Hulkster.
Oh.
Or maybe the crotch chop.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. You gotta have us. Yes, the macho. You gotta.
You listen to me. You listen to me. The cream always rises. Okay. That wasn't the only news. Noah Hanifin, yeah, sounding like not so much. And, well, they say things happened in threes, Dean. Sometimes, when it happens 3 times, it happens in threes. And the third, Michael Backland. No, forever a Flame. Career Flame. Could have been the captain. Maybe. I don't know. Michael.
You should. Do you want to just read this for people that are listening? We've
Sure.
talked about it already.
You've read them all before, but the third Frank bomb of the day, a bit of a surprise, told Michael Backland leaning towards not re-signing. That could change, and the Flames hope it does. He has been a staple for 15 years. Is it that long? Craig Conroy, decisions to make. Indeed, there are decisions to make. Welcome to your first GM job. You having fun yet? Everything you thought it would be?
Thank God.
Hair on
Iggy's
fire?
board.
You sleeping at all?
He needs a special assistant. What do you
I
think the
don't even know
special
what's better.
assistant does for the GM right now?
Might just be booking neck rubs. This guy's going to be tense as can be. Keep them limber and loose for this wrestling match at the draft. Come on. Mitch
Hey,
Love
Iggy-
is not.
Iggy, can you grab me a Gatorade out of the thing there? Yeah, I'm just so parched right now. I've been talking to all these GMs. I've just got a bit of a tickle. Could you? No, that orange. I don't like the blue. Give me an orange one there. That great.
There's another move for the draft floor. Like, I hope Iggy's in Nashville. I don't know if he's going, but him and Conroy arguing with each other.
Yes.
Start shoving each other.
Oh, the 04 boys and some infighting here. I don't know if they're on the same page on this Hanifin deal.
Yeah, it looks like there's a differing of opinion at
It
the.
would be so good. So good.
I think Iginla wants the Russian defenseman. Connie wants the center. No.
Start doing Ric Flair chops on each other.
Hoo-wee.
Very little
and Mitch-
likelihood of this happening, but it would be very good.
Brilliant. I'm telling
great
you.
for
I
us.
think
It's
you
gonna
want,
be-
entertainment. It's an entertainment
It's
business.
going to be an exciting draft. Congrats to Mitch Love. He's now an assistant in the NHL with a different organization. He's off to the Washington Capitals. And we don't know a lot about why, but this seems to be the position he was interviewed for and chatted about with the Flames. He says, fuck those Chinooks. I get migraines going to DC.
Maybe it came to blows with him and Conroy.
Oh, dear.
I
So
like, you
Mitch-
know what's good for Connie? He's got a good backup.
Yeah.
He does have good backup. Oliwa, the leading candidate for the AHL job, we're hearing.
You can just
He
hear
needs him in the skit. Yeah.
the Undertaker music hits. Jerome comes in with the big hat and the.
Who's Stone Cold? Is that Chris Simon with the shaved head? Let's go. Shattering of glass.
That's what we need. We need some characters. Who would be what character? That'd be. We'll work on it. We'll work.
We've got all summer to figure this out, to be fair, Dino.
or at least a week
let's-
until round one. Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, that is true. Okay, so we'll that's the NHL news. Not great. The Calder Cup final was last
Maybe it is.
night, Game 7 in Palm Springs. The Coachella Valley Firebirds. We're in overtime of Game 7 for a championship, Brett. Who's got stones big enough to try a tweener in overtime of Game 7? Well, let's have a look.
Up ice, Podorowski. In the offensive zone between the legs. Podorowski tries to go between the legs again.
Twice. Watch this again. Okay, he's coming in on the right wing. Zook.
Toe drag.
And whoop. Imagine winning a championship with a tweener in overtime. Or not winning it if you just went to the backhand, because here's what happened next. It's 2-2
Down
in
the
OT.
corner. Evans and Borgstrom battling for possession. Billy Petman involved as well. Borgstrom in front. Vecchione couldn't settle it down. Puck still available in front of the net. Loose puck, they score. Mike Vecchione has won the Calder Cup for the Hershey Bears. There was a loose puck scramble right in front. And Mike Vecchione buried it.
Fun.
Game 7 goes to Hershey. They have won their 12th Calder Cup in franchise history. And the inaugural season for the Coachella Valley Firebirds comes to a heartbreaking end in Game 7.
Sure does. All right, that's enough.
Like
of this.
you could hear somebody throw down their headset microphone there after the goal. Ah, for fuck's sake.
Damn it.
Yeah.
score on
Heartbreaker.
the
Heartbreaker.
Up 2-0 in the series, lose in overtime in Game 7. It was the third overtime loss of the final. Hershey won 1-0. Ooh, there's a lot of chances you're going to stay up at night thinking about if you're Coachella Valley.
Yeah, man.
Good first year, I'd say, though. Those expansion teams seem to know what they're doing, Dean.
Empty
Okay.
cap.
We'll move.
Nothing like a fresh start.
Yeah, a good hard reset. Let's. We got haircut news in the Pinder report.
Is it your
Artemi
news, or-
Panarin. Artemi
Oh.
Panarin went to his barber. Evil forces lurk throughout my hair and must be removed. That is
What's
him
with
on the
the-
right, not his
What's a
security.
creepy dude?
That's his barber. He had to remove the evil
Brutus?
forces. You can't go to any barber.
Or just the
Let's go.
barber beefcake?
Yes.
I think you need to do that, Ryan.
I do have some evil forces in my hair. We'll see what happens in Nashville. If I make it back alive, maybe it's time to cut it.
You should do it before. Try to look respectable.
Yeah, I've tried looking respectable before. Didn't
We
really
need
go
to
my
do
way.
it in phases.
Yeah,
Get-
I like that idea.
Like let's
Start
get
with-
some business at the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could go get some
Get
Ricky
business
Power
at
going
the
for a
front.
bit.
Yeah.
Get some racing stripes and lightning bolts on the sides.
Somehow work in a mullet or do a reverse mullet or something, or
Ooh,
a
a reverse
mohawk or the cul-de-sac. Oh, look.
Other NHL news, Toronto minority owner of MLSE, Larry Tannenbaum, wants to sell his share of the company, which he's valuing at $8 billion. Oh,
Mandelbaum.
that's a lot of dough. Lot of dough. $8 billion.
So what is that?
Billion?
It's the Raptors. It's the Leafs.
Oh, sorry.
The Scotiabank Arena. It is a large collection of sports properties, I think, including real sports and like a tower. Like this started out as, there's a couple teams. And
I thought you said MLS. No. I thought he was in on the Toronto.
MLSE is what MLSE, Major League Sports and Entertainment. Raptors, Leafs, the building, and probably some other small shares of other things there. Maybe
let's buy it.
Maybe. How many billion you got under the couch, Rhett? Let's go down to the basement. What can you sell that flag for? It's gonna be a lot of dough. He's muted again. Let's have a look at someone who had an awful night as an umpire, which we always seem to enjoy.
Not everyone every night.
They're especially bad sometimes. That's not a strike. Oh, the Reds aren't happy, and the Reds
consistent.
Still aren't happy.
Consistent.
And the Reds still not happy. That's awful. 5.5 inches. Jesus. That's outside.
Gets the call.
We're ready, right? Robot umps. You leave the plays of the plate. You can still yell and try to get guys kicked out. But we need robot strike zone, yeah?
It's time.
No? Oh, yeah.
If the MLB wasn't idiotic, they could do it without changing anything. Just have a little buzzer in the back pocket. Yeah.
And to be fair, I've liked a lot of the changes they made. At the time, they sounded radical, but these games are getting done in like 2.5 hours now.
It's weird.
The pitch clock does not seem crazy. Like, I liked a lot of the things. More stolen bases, no more shifts. I think they could get this right very soon. Come on, guys. Don't be idiots. Pride game this weekend at Atco Field for bye boom. See you later. Cavalry FC as they host York. Here is Mason Trafford, the former player, running the business side now on Pride.
Definitely one that was starred on the calendar last year and 100% was like starred on the calendar this year. People love this game. It's soccer, it's Pride, it's like the league is involved. We have local sponsors and partners, league, national level sponsors and partners. It's sort of like everything comes together. Picture the stadium, like beautiful colors everywhere, packed house, people like, again, raising money, and we're trying to do our bit and actually like make an impact as well. And for whatever reason, it's just such a great game. I think it's June 24th as well, so it's like perfect timing for school. It's like everybody wants to come to that game.
Huge crowd expected. It was one of the games of the year last year. That's Saturday at 3 p.m. Rhett, did you miss Slam Ball? Remember Slam Ball? Not Spike Ball. That was a thing too. That's still going. Slam Ball was when they put trampolines into the floors on basketball courts. Do you remember this? Like 20 years ago?
Yeah.
2 words. She back. ESPN signing a deal to resurrect Slam Ball. I don't know how many people died in Slam Ball, but I'm going to watch and find out.
Dion Valley.
Oh.
Are you allowed to do this?
I don't know, but I'm for it, dude. Hey. Yeah, it's happening. So buckle up, Slam Ball. July 21. They're going to let this thing start ripping again. All right. We'll be watching. At least highlights like this. I could use about 30 seconds of Slam Ball highlights a day. That's all I need. Don't need the photo.
I got to tell you, I'm more inclined to watch this than cornhole.
Yeah, no, and they have tag. I don't know if where you're living.
I've watched some of the tag. It was a great novelty for a while, but it's tough to
First
follow.
time you see it, quite impressive, and then it's like, I've already seen tag. I don't need to see that again.
You know what would make all of them better? The Slam Ball and like the slap fight and all of that. Drunk Slam Ball.
I was thinking a drunk team against
cornhole.
convicts. That would be awesome. Yeah.
For get everybody hammered up and then play sports, whatever, drunk tag, drunk whatever. We're missing out on a huge opportunity. Sponsorship dollars galore.
Now, Rhett, are you do you and the Shoveler, do you coach bowling out there at a university? Or are you not in the bowling?
No, because I don't want anyone to catch up to me.
Because I wasn't sure, and I think the names are different, but we saw an article. This is some drama in the bowling world, Dean, which you don't often see. Let's start with the other part of the article first here. Okay. So, husband-wife coaching combo. Assistant bowling coach Steve chose to resign rather than be fired after he had an affair with a student athlete. Not a good move. You don't want to be having an affair. Never mind with the student athlete. Never mind when you're the assistant bowling coach. He's married to the head coach, and national titles, 2 second-place finishes. That's a program. They're going to be feeling the pain of that departure. Now, so what would you headline the article if you're a writer? What could you come up with? Spare relationship causes awkward split.
Well done.
The Nagadocious Daily Sentinel.
More applause. It's been a hell of a day. Everybody's on. This is unbelievable.
What a headline!
Yeah,
you couldn't have done better.
You could have maybe there's something with the gutter. Maybe something you could have wedged one of those in. That's pretty good.
We've got 2 bowling references in the headline, and it encapsulates everything. It's brilliant.
See, now, you know what?
Good journalism does exist, kids.
Drunk bowling.
The Nachadoches times.
I thought bowl. That's the only way you do bowl, isn't it?
I trying to get sober. It's not nearly as fun.
You got to do the breathalyzer before you get in the alley.
That's right. He's blowing out.
All right, you're good to go. Yeah,
martini.
You're good to go. Hang on. No, just mix them up. Just a quick double shot on the rocks and give him 10 minutes.
Tequila, please.
Yeah,
just a tequila. Cheap tequila. Yeah, that's fine. Finally, Rhett, you were hungry last night, and there's some security footage at the local corner store. I don't know if the fridge was empty. I know you're scheming a drive back to Calgary at some point.
Well, the grad went long.
Grad went long. He's hungry. The fridge is empty. Bad combo. Look at Rhett. The munchies late at night last night. This is quite simple. So, a hungry guy walks in the store, and he's he can get the whole rack if he wants, but he just wants the one and forgot his wallet.
Sir, could you pay? We're going to need you.
Just one. He's a good boy.
That was Razor eating pizza last night.
Just one slice?
Not a chance.
Yeah, right. That's your Pinder report on Black Thursday, fellas.
It's like, come on. Village Honda. For the entire month of June, Village Honda collecting recyclable pop cans and bottles for donation to the Cochrane Containers for Critters program. Help them, help the pets. Come into Village Honda with your donation today. That is the Pinder report, and that is Village Honda. What else did we need to talk about? There were some things. I mean, we've really talked. It's
a lot of Flames.
We've been dragging this shit out, man. Let's heavy.
Does anybody have an issue with the Hall of Fame inductees? We didn't have it there in the Pinder report, but
I've given up trying to think that these guys make sense, and I expect them to make crazy decisions. So yesterday was right in line, and they won't talk about it, so there's no accountability. So I'm good.
Ken Hitchcock, I think he's probably deserving to go in. Lundqvist deserving to go in.
Those are no-brainers.
I think people are more upset maybe about the snubs. A lot of people, it's like Pierre Turgeon. What the hell did this guy do? I don't know.
Good player. Is he as good as Alexander McGillney?
Well, that's the thing. You can look at McGillney's numbers. Yeah. You look at McGillney's numbers and be like, well, there's guys in the Hall who have similar numbers, so why isn't he in? And then Turgeon goes in and people don't think that he should be. Well, there's probably some guys in the Hall of Fame, and there are, in fact, guys in the Hall of Fame that have similar numbers. So who gives a shit?
Let's just celebrate them all. It's great.
That's right.
Happy for Vernie. Happy for
Why
Vernie.
can't we just got a boy, Vernie? What do you think Vernie did last night?
Celebrated.
Yeah.
He was not expecting the call. Those are the best parties.
Yeah.
The parties you don't see coming. Wide open, got nothing planned. Oh boy, we got a part.
It'd be awkward because Lanny is one of the guys that makes those calls. If he was kind of phone screening, it's like, oh Christ, what does Lanny want?
Can't golf today, Lanny. Stop it.
You know what? And you can't get off the phone when Lanny starts talking. It's a half an hour. I don't have time for a chat with Lanny right now. Just don't answer. God.
No, it must be an anniversary. Hey, Lanny, did we win today? 30 years ago. What is it? Is it the day? No. What are we talking about?
Hi, Lanny. How's it going? Rhett, you're a crazy person. Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg in a steel cage.
Do it.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Do it.
The world is a fantastic and fascinating place sometimes. I don't know what's happening, but the internet is abuzz over two very crazy, 2 billionaires and crazy nut jobs.
You know what? Good. And donate a whole effing pile of money to charity. Every dime raised goes to some charities. Give her, boys. That's awesome. Like, we take our people are too serious. This is perfect. Relax.
So I didn't follow it that
jiu-jitsu.
close.
There's no punching. No one's gonna get KO'd. You're gonna tap, and that's it.
So Zuckerberg, who I guess has been does kind of train or whatever in some sort of.
He's a
I think
billionaire.
all
He's got
they
a
say.
trainer. Come on.
I heard some kooky stat that all these smart mother effers, they all train in jiu-jitsu.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Hence
Musk,
my
of
kids.
course, everyone knows Tesla, billionaire, that thing. And then Zuckerberg, Facebook, whatever, Meta, or I don't know what the hell it is. Who started this beef? Because now is like, yeah, well, I'll fight you. Sure, you name the place. Well, how about here? Let's go. I'll be there. Let me know. To the point that now there's these two donkeys are going to actually fight.
I didn't know. Yeah. Is it a true beef or are they just pissing and moaning because I'm richer than you are and it's almost half a joke? Like,
Maybe
Musk
they're at
has
some
him
fancy
beat, right?
place with $40 cocktails and they're fighting over the same girl. Who knows? They got beef.
Meanwhile, hey, Bezos, you chicken shit.
You old bastard.
Let's go.
Triple threat match. Let's go.
Triple. That's right. Yeah, triple threat match. Yeah, I don't think
Get
Bezos.
Gates in there and have all four of them in a corner, and
He can
whoever.
ref. He can be the ref. Yeah.
No. You don't get to ref because you're older. You get involved. Come on.
Okay,
Need
all right.
4. We need a tag team
Doing
match.
jiu-jitsu every day, apparently, so he'll be ready.
What a world we live in. What a world.
I'll
we
take
live
you
in.
down.
Who was it we used to talk to, Dean, that always talked about celebrity fighting? Was it Verk? Was it Brunt? There was always someone we brought up that loved the notion of like celebrities scrapping to solve problems.
I
Or
said
maybe-
it because when
Was it you?
we talked about it, and it was with those kinds of guys, but it
Mhm.
was like, yeah, sometimes I'd much rather pay to watch two dopes that actually dislike
Yes.
each other than to watch professionals. Like,
Because it
Yeah,
was
you know,
those
it would've been-
brothers, right? Yeah.
It's the
Balls,
Paul
yeah.
brothers. Yeah.
That's right.
It was, I think
I'd
it was
pay money
Brunt.
to
We
watch
would
that guy
talk
get
to
hit,
him. Yeah. That's how we get out of the world, out of all these issues that we find ourselves in.
Good distractions.
Let's just have crazy billionaires fight each other.
well, I don't know if you want Putin and Biden going at it. That might be.
Yeah, the politicians are
saying a
too
word.
old. It's not good fights. We want billionaires.
I'm not sure Biden's going to need some sort of a
He's always
valet.
challenging people to push-ups, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going to need Mr. Fuji or something at his side.
He
A
tripped down
handful
a
of
stationary
salt or
set of
something.
stairs. I don't know if that's the match we need.
Fine, we'll go with the billionaires. No politicians. You're too important.
Yeah, that's always better.
I want to tell you about St. Eugene Golf Course. There you see the championship golf course, Cranbrook, British Columbia.
Oh yeah.
Championship golf course. Not a goat track. Not some
No.
9-hole.
Not a
Dusty.
ham and egger.
Yeah. Championship golf course. Casino, spa, restaurants, mountains surrounding you in all directions. You know, we're gonna have to send Conroy there after this is all said and done.
Yeah.
He's going to need to decompress. Then he's got to be free agency. He's going to have so much cap space. Everyone's talking about how he's going, no,
Spend some at St. Eugene. It'd be great.
go out there, get yourself a little VIP treatment, Connie. We'll set it up for you. StEugene.ca
Fresh air.
is
Needs
the
it.
website. Needs it. Needs to decompress.
Clear your
StEugene.ca
head.
is the website. Book yourself in for a nice little stay. Do it all. Get the casino in there. Have yourself a little spa treatment. Treat yourself to a delicious and a fine dining experience. And a few rounds of golf out in Cranbrook, BC, St. Eugene Golf Resort and Casino.
I'm trying to nail down
Now,
Matt for a date for St. Eugene, but he keeps blowing me off with his dates.
Yeah, I just ignore it. It's like
I know.
Bernie
It's
ignored
quite frustrating.
Lanny.
Yeah.
It's awkward, yeah.
Like Iggy was ignoring your text. You got to pay it forward. Start ignoring someone else.
Yeah. So now for tomorrow's program, Pinder, you are representing the show. You're on the road.
Burner. I'll be up in Edmonton
Road again.
with our boy Jay from Oilers Honk Nation or some show up there on the network, and we'll be golfing in the ATB Financial Classic Media Day. That used to be an event that was held every year in Calgary, and now what they do is they alternate 1 year Calgary, 1 year Edmonton, 1 year Calgary, 1 year Edmonton, which makes sense.
Because Edmonton's important too. Yeah.
I think because their tournament fell through, so yeah, now you split it.
Well, it is Alberta ATB. That would be the.
That makes sense for them.
Yeah, that would.
Pinder, put in a. Don't be a dumbass. Get us a raise. Let's go.
See what I can do. Yep. All right. You want to manage a branch? I can get you a job. Are you moving back?
You're a great talker. You're a great negotiator. Believe in yourself and go for it.
So you golfed on Monday, correct? Was it Monday or Tuesday? Which day?
It was Monday. We were at the Rocky Mountain Rotary Charity Golf Tournament.
And it was cold, and you were in shorts, and it sounded like your booze consumption, that maybe the weather kind of kept that to a minimum.
I think I had 3 drinks in 7 hours. That's an extremely low watermark for me. And it was more out of fear of hypothermia than anything.
What are we thinking tomorrow?
Cold beverages? No.
Friday?
No. Do you have coffee? I am going up tonight. So tonight will be the green light. And tomorrow's game day. And I got to get back for something tomorrow night, which means I got to be ready to rock and roll after the course to drive for 3 hours, which means we'll be on best paid.
Can you golf sober?
Tried it. It wasn't my thing necessarily.
I find it much like bowling. It's very difficult to.
It's boring as hell.
Yeah.
Like,
and
man, this boombox is annoying when I'm not hammered.
Yeah. Pinder might be the one thing, because I was saying how everything's better when drunk. Better when drunk. Pinder might be the exception. You might be better when sober because you become a lot when you're teetering on the verge of drunk. The volume goes up.
Well,
everything just kind of starts. It's this kind of starts.
It's good for a while, and then it's too far.
There's a sweet spot, but it's a very short amount of time. We've got about 9 minutes. About 9 minutes.
Everybody, let's enjoy Pinder for the next 9 and then ignore.
Let's play this dumb drinking game and do high kicks, and then we'll move to the next place.
Yeah. Guys that golf with us, I thought Pinder would be a little bit more gregarious and outgoing. Oh, so, boy, you know what? Okay, so it just took a while. Maybe you just had to get comfortable with this. 9 minutes. Jesus Christ.
Okay. So he's comfy.
We got 14.
Don't worry, Dean. You've only got 4 days in Nashville with me next week.
Yeah, that's right. Our draft week coverage begins on Monday. You've got the draft program. Do you want to kind of tee up what that is? It'll run on Tuesday.
Yeah, so we had Byron Bader from hockeyprospecting.com come in. He's phenomenal at tracking prospects pre and post draft in terms of where they're at, what their seasons mean down the road, what types of players they're similar to over every single player that's been drafted since 1990 till today. So it's a really interesting website that he's got. Also, we had FC Hockey's Western Scout, Joel Henderson, join us. You got to see a bunch of these guys live in action and has been following this class of Western Canadians that were led by Connor Bedard for years here. It was a really nice blend between sort of Byron looking at the hard numbers of things and Joel being like, now here's how you'll watch this guy enter the ozone. And he's really silky doing this. Like, I thought it was a great show. It'll drop Tuesday and the Flames pick at 16 for now. Maybe they'll add another first round pick before we get to Wednesday night's round 1. And we also did a little mock draft 1 through 16, stopping where the Flames get pick number 16.
All right. So that'll run on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then we are going to be in Nashville Wednesday, Thursday, and then we'll have some sort of a recap for you on Friday as Barn Burner takes on Music City without retro.
Have you seen?
I
what
won't
time
even know what to do with myself.
Friday. Have you looked at the itinerary?
Yeah.
Are we staying up?
5:30
a.m. departure, Nashville.
Thanks for booking that.
horrendous.
Well, he's gonna have to book another. That's how that goes. Not making that one.
No, we're not making that one. We should probably be proactive and do that ourselves, but we'll figure that out. So we're looking forward to
5:30.
next
You want
week.
me at the airport at 4?
Yeah, no.
Hard pass.
We'll figure it out. So we're looking forward to all of that coming up. So safe travels. Do us proud tomorrow, Pinder.
It'll be good to see
With your
the
9
boss man
minutes.
up there.
Yeah.
The Oilers fans will be very rational and level-headed, as always.
Yeah. And are you also traveling? Are you road tripping tomorrow there, Warner? All right.
We've had the gamut
safe-
run
yeah.
from Sunday's Father's Day, so we were gonna leave Sunday, but I think probably Monday, and then Monday arrived. Oh, I'm too hungover. God, we got boozy on Father's Day, and then Tuesday. Well, we got a graduation coming up, so not leave Tuesday, not leave Wednesday, not leave Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. Graduation's done. Are you still coming back at all, or?
I'm coming back.
Yeah. Well, safe travels potentially tomorrow for you too, if that's.
But if you dopes aren't there, what am I coming back for?
Meet you in Nashville?
You should just go to Nashville.
Why wouldn't you? Come on.
I mean,
Do
God,
it.
you've got
Do
days
it.
to
Come
get your
on.
ass to Nashville. You got tons of time.
What's a flight? Because we know we only book one way. What's a one-way flight from Buffalo?
What's
to
a one-way
Nashville?
ticket to Nashville?
Maybe I should drive and we could all drive back together.
Shit, yeah. Let's go.
Oof, that's a
I'm-
Road again.
Then we're not catching a whatever AM flight. We'll wheel back.
Yeah.
Have some fun adventures along the way.
You always
Document
want to do a
for the-
bandit run with me. Didn't you?
Yes. Come on, Retro. Let's do it.
9 minutes.
How long's
you
the
just
drive?
said is the pocket.
Thought I'm checking right now. I'm checking.
How long's
right
the
now.
drive?
I'm checking.
Nice.
Chill the F out, would you?
All right. Well, I'm excited now.
Why is it taking so long?
See if I can get red a flight.
I don't need a flight. We're driving.
Road again. He's driving
to get down there.
Nashville.
It's
You're driving
one
to
day and
Nashville?
7 hours. So 31. We could do it. Everyone drives 10.
Shift work.
Shit, yeah.
10.
Huh?
So sorry. Is it 7 hours Buffalo to Nashville? Is that
It's
what you
about
said?
10 from Buffalo to Nashville.
Okay.
And then 31 from Nashville to Calgary.
We get there on now again because the show Tuesday's travel day. Do you want to split that up? Maybe leave on Monday. Get
Me?
there on or
What
do you want to do a
difference does it
7-hour haul? I'm just thinking about you. I want you to be ready.
Oh, 10 hours is nothing. I got a couple podcasts I'd listen to.
All right.
There.
Yeah. Tuesday we get in what, Brian? About 7 or 8?
We
Somewhere
are
about there.
arriving Tuesday at 8:41 p.m.
You pick us up from the airport.
No.
Hmm?
No.
We'll meet you at Tootsie's. How's that sound?
You're
I'm not driving to Nashville. I'm going to go to the airport.
Well, you're
pick
picking
you
us up.
No,
you
it's
got a
okay.
car?
Dude, as long as he's got a table full of Shiner box on the 3rd floor at Tootsie's, I'm fine.
All right. So
We'll Uber there. We'll
this is the
ride
great.
and share.
You know what? Listen, I'm not even bullshitting. Let's go. Road trip? Although I don't want to get detained at the border, and you have a tendency for that to happen. Bring your
Maybe
passport, would you?
Can you fly from Butte to Calgary?
Friggin' donkey.
Yeah, remember your passport. Good idea.
See, now that's what I'm doing after the show now. So what's the path? What cities? What spots are we going to stop?
Yeah, we'll
at?
have to talk about it off the air. So.
Oh,
You ever been to Des Moines? You really excited to get to Des Moines?
oh yeah, let's go.
We're in
Fuck
good
that.
spot. USHL team. Great.
This feels, you know what? This feels like a Tommy Boy type of a deal. I'm eating M&Ms, getting fat in the front seat.
Candy.
Dora comes flying
Whose
off at the
music
get.
do we have to listen to?
Yeah, well, we'll be
Whoever's
listening
driving
to
gets the music. You get 10 hours each. Do what you need to.
yeah, we'll be listening to your crazy tinfoil hat podcasts. Jesus Christ, Pinder, when do you get to drive? Anything's better than this.
I'll do the overnight. I like
Sweet.
driving at night. You
Yeah.
guys got bad eyes. I'll do the overnight. That's perfect.
All right,
Kids can
buddies.
sleep.
That's Betway. Let's do some
Deep
Betway.
techno.
Pinder, you got a Betway for us before we
Got a
before we get out
Betway?
of here.
Betway and on our way. That's what we're doing. Baseball tonight. Mariners, Yankees. I'm going to take the under 5.5 on the total runs. No Judge still, right? For the Yankees. What's going on there? And Seattle, not the most potent of offenses. Both teams pitched decently. Sticky fingers on the mound tonight, I think. And then we're also going to take a Julio Rodriguez over 1.5 total bases. J-Rod, their superstar. All he needs a double for that to come through a couple singles. Let's go. Betway, bet the responsible way. 19 plus, Ontario only. Bet the responsible way. Betway.
There you go. Betway, the official betting partner for Barn Burner and Flames Nation. That's going to do it for the show. Back tomorrow for the Friday edition. What will there be more Flames news? It was a lot today.
Jerome Iginla has refused to sign his contract and is leaving the Flames.
Lindholm out, Iginla in. Tremendous. See you tomorrow, buddies. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.